Poverty is deprivation. We have to measure poverty so that we have to alleviate it and eradicate it. Deprivation of what? That's what the debate about poverty in India has been. Initially, Y.K. Alag committee said deprivation in the consumption of certain calories. 2,400 calories in the rural areas, 2,100 calories in the urban areas. And later, few years later, early 90s, Lakdawala committee said the same thing about poverty. It was essentially hunger, but a narrow definition of poverty equated poverty to hunger because Indian government did not have the resources to tackle poverty at a broader level. And in the middle of the decade, the first decade of the current century, Tendulkar committee was set up to assess poverty, define and assess. And they expanded the definition of poverty to cover goods and services, a basket of goods and services, food, transport, education and so on. And still later in 2012, Rangarajan committee was set up and it said that poverty is much larger, multidimensional, and so it added more items, education, health and so on and so forth. Now, the poverty debate is back with Niti Ayog releasing the day before yesterday the extent of multidimensional poverty in India. Remember, Tendulkar committee initiated the debate about poverty by including more items than just the food. Rangarajan committee took it forward. In between, in 2010, UNDP and the Oxford Center for Poverty and Human Development together constructed an index called the MDP, Multidimensional Poverty. Because poverty isn't just denial, deprivation of food. Poverty includes whether somebody went to school, spent enough time in school, and whether there is under 5 mortality, whether there is stunting, whether there is cooking fuel which is non-polluting, whether the floor of the house is made up of durable materials or not, whether they have water, whether they have sanitation, whether they have some assets like radio, television, refrigerator, etc. So all these dimensions, deprivation of them makes up a comprehensive definition of poverty. And Niti Ayog, with the help of UNDP and the Oxford Center, last 2 years has been releasing the MDP in India. And under the Niti Ayog definition of MDP, 2 more criteria to the ones I have just now said, the 10 of them adopted by the UNDP, Niti Ayog added 2 more. One is the maternal health and the other one is the bank account. And so what is the summary of the multidimensional poverty index? The entire poverty can be grouped into 3 subsets. One is education, another health, third one is living standards. Each one making up a third of the entirety of the index. And thus, what has been the finding of the Niti Ayog in the country? You know, there is a dramatic drop in the level of MDP in the country from 25% to 15% between 2015-16 to 2019-21. And what's the difference between the two? The first one was based upon National Family Health Survey 4 and the second one is National Health Survey 5. So which one is the poorest state in the country? Bihar. And which state has recorded the maximum drop in poverty? Bihar, from 52% to 34%. Which state is the best? Kerala, where there is less than 1% of the population that is multidimensionally poor. Now there is another concept. What is the intensity of poverty? How poor are the poor? If someone is missing out on 3 dimensions, he is poor. The 4th dimension makes him poorer. 5th dimension even poorer. So how poor are the poor? Even there India has recorded progress. All this is because sanitation has improved because of Swachh Bharat. Drinking water, Jal Jeevan Mission. Electricity, Saubhagya. Cooking fuel, Ujjwala. Prime Minister's Awas Yojana for housing. So all these welfare programs have had their positive impact, and we are on our way ahead of time to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal 1.2, which aims to bring down the multidimensional poverty by half by 2030.